The screech of tires shattered the quiet of Maple Lane. I was in the garage, wrench in hand, fixing Mrs. Carter's old Chevy. At 67, my hands weren't as steady, but they knew engines like old friends. My wife, Clara, was in the kitchen, humming as she baked for the church fundraiser. It was a typical Tuesday until the black SUVs roared in, "Police!" "Everyone down," shouted voices. Men in tactical gear spilled out, rifles raised, faces masked by helmets. I stepped outside, grease-stained, hands up. "There's a mistake," I said calmly. A rifle barrel silenced me. "On the ground, now!" I knelt, concrete biting my knees, as they zip-tied my wrists. Clara's car pulled into the driveway. She stepped out, flour dusting her apron, eyes wide. "John, what's happening?" 3 officers pivoted, weapons on her. "Drop the bag, ma'am." Clara clutched her purse, confused. "Please, she's not a threat," I yelled. A young officer, jittery, drew his taser. Non-compliant, he barked. Before I could move, the taser fired. Clara gasped, collapsing, her purse spilling across the pavement. My heart roared, but panic wouldn't help. I locked eyes with the commander, his insignia gleaming. With the calm of decades past, I spoke 5 words: "Call General Hayes right now." The commander froze, confusion flickering. His team held position, radios crackling. A younger officer scoffed, "What's that supposed to mean, old man?" But I kept my gaze steady. "Check my jacket pocket," I said. The commander hesitated, then nodded. This wasn't Maple Lane anymore. It was a battlefield I'd left behind. Type respect if you honor those who serve in silence. The SWAT commander's gloved hand reached into my jacket pocket, pulling out a worn leather wallet. Inside gleamed a metallic badge, its Black Eagle insignia catching the sunlight. His eyes widened, a flicker of recognition crossing his face. "What is this?" he muttered, voice low. Around us, Maple Lane stood frozen, Clara still on the ground, medics rushing to her side, officers gripping rifles. "That's Blackthorn clearance," I said, voice steady despite the zip ties cutting into my wrists. "Tier 1 access. Call General Hayes." The young officer who tossed Clara scoffed again. "Some old guy's souvenir? We're here for a trafficker, not war stories." But the commander's face paled, his radio crackling with urgency. "Verify the address," he barked. An officer fumbled with a tablet, then stammered, "Sir, this is 231, Maple Lane." "Target's at 231, Maple Road, different zip code." The team shifted uneasily, rifles lowering slightly. I ignored them, focusing on Clara. Her breathing was shallow, her heart condition a ticking clock. "Cut these restraints," I said, locking eyes with the commander. "My wife needs me." He hesitated, then nodded. A blade sliced through the plastic ties. I knelt beside Clara, checking her pulse with fingers that once defused bombs in forgotten wars. "I'm here, love," I whispered across the street. A neighbor's phone captured everything, the video already streaming to X. Later, he'd tell reporters. He said 5 words, and the SWAT team looked like kids caught stealing. The commander clutched my badge, whispering to an older officer, "Blackthorn, that's classified ops." "Who is this guy?" They thought they'd raided a criminal's home. They'd just crossed a ghost. Comment honor if you respect those who protect without praise. Clara's pulse was weak but steady. I held her hand, whispering, "Stay with me, Clara." The medic worked fast, removing taser barbs from her chest. Her heart condition made every second critical. The SWAT team stood rigid, their earlier bravado fading. My badge of Blackthorn clearance had shifted the air on Maple Lane. The commander clutched his radio, voice low. "Central, verify John Carver, Blackthorn protocol." Static crackled, then a stunned reply, "Carver? He's classified. Tier 1, retired." The older officer nearby muttered, "That's Delta Ops. He wrote counter-terror protocols." I ignored them, focused on Clara. 30 years ago, I'd navigated jungles and deserts, defusing crises that never made headlines. Medals sat in a locked drawer. Clara was my anchor through nightmares and silence. At 67, I'd chosen wrenches over weapons, building ramps for vets, teaching kids auto repair. Maple Lane knew me as John, the fixer, not Carver, the ghost. The commander approached, helmet off, face ashen. Sir, we had intel on a weapons cache. I cut him off, voice like steel. You hit the wrong house. You tossed my wife. Verify before you escalate. He flinched, glancing at Clara across the street. The neighbor's video streamed live, racking up thousands of views. Comments flooded X. They tossed his wife? Who is this guy? The SWAT team's radios buzzed with orders to stand down. The young officer who fired the taser looked sick, his career unraveling. I stood, helping Clara sit up as the medic nodded. She's stable, but hospital's safer. I looked at the commander. Your mess. Fix it. Call General Hayes. His hand shook, dialing. My past was a shadow, but today, it casts light. Comment justice if you believe heroes don't need medals. The SWAT team's radios buzzed as Clara was loaded onto a stretcher. I stayed close, her hand in mine, her eyes flickering with pain. Maple Lane's quiet was shattered by the hum of an approaching vehicle. No sirens, just purpose. A black SUV with military plates stopped behind the police vans. General Marcus Hayes stepped out, his silver hair and crisp suit radiating authority. The commander rushed forward, stammering, "Sir, we didn't know." Hayes silenced him with a glance, striding toward me. We locked eyes, 30 years of unspoken history between us. He saluted sharply. I returned it, my first in decades. "John," he said, voice low, "they told me you were out." "Only from the game," I replied. His gaze shifted to Clara, jaw tightening. "What happened here?" I pointed to the commander. "Wrong address. Excessive force. My wife's heart can't take this." Hayes turned, his presence chilling the SWAT team. "You raided a Blackthorn operative's home," he said, voice cutting like a blade. "Carver wrote your tactical manuals." The older officer paled, whispering, "John Carver, the ghost of Kandahar." The young taser officer looked ready to collapse. The neighbor's video was now viral on X, with hashtags like #WrongHouse trending. Viewers posted, 5 words stopped a SWAT team. Hayes faced the commander. "Who authorized this?" The man fumbled, "Intel on a weapons dealer, sir." Hayes snapped, "You didn't verify. You humiliated a national asset." I knelt by Clara, her breathing steadier. "Hospital, now," I told the medic. Hayes placed a hand on my shoulder. "This ends today, John." My past had resurfaced, but Clara was my present. Comment strength if you believe real heroes stay calm under fire. Clara was wheeled into the ambulance, her hand still gripping mine. I climbed in, ignoring the SWAT team's uneasy stares. General Hayes stood on Maple Lane, his voice sharp as he addressed the commander. "You'll answer for this." The young officer who tossed Clara stood frozen, his taser now a weight in his trembling hands. Inside, Clara whispered, "John, don't let this break us." Her strength, despite the bruises blooming on her chest, steadied me. For 42 years, she'd weathered my missions, my scars. Now, I'd failed to protect her. "Never," I promised, kissing her forehead. The commander approached the ambulance, helmet off, face etched with regret. "Mr. Carver, we didn't know who you were." I fixed him with a stare honed in war zones. "You didn't need to know. She's a civilian, not a target." He swallowed, nodding. "I'm sorry, sir." "Sorry doesn't undo tasers," I said. "You acted on bad intel, no verification. That's not training, that's recklessness." The neighbor's video, now viral on X, amplified the outrage. Posts read, "They tossed his wife for nothing." #call Hayes. The SWAT team's radios buzzed with damage control orders. Hayes stepped closer, handing me an envelope. "John, this is a formal apology from the department. And an offer, your clearance, reinstated." I didn't touch it. "My service is here," I said, nodding to Clara. "Not in shadows anymore." Hayes nodded, respect in his eyes. As the ambulance doors closed, the commander called out, "What now, sir?" I looked back. Learn. Verify. Respect. The viral video would force change, but Clara's pain was the cost. Comment accountability if you believe authority must answer for its mistakes. The hospital's fluorescent lights buzzed as I sat beside Clara's bed. Her heart monitor beeped steadily, a small victory. Bruises marked her chest where taser barbs had struck, but her eyes held fire. "John, I'm tougher than I look," she said, squeezing my hand. At 65, Clara was my rock, her faith unwavering through my covert past. Outside, Maple Lane buzzed with news vans. The neighbor's video had exploded on X, nearing 1 million views. Comments flooded in, 5 words stopped a SWAT team. #Justice for Clara. The SWAT team's mistake raiding 231 Maple Lane instead of Maple Road fueled outrage. Posts demanded reform. A nurse entered, whispering, "Mr. Carver, the police chief's here." Chief Laura Daniels stepped in, her face grim. "Mr. and Mrs. Carver, I'm deeply sorry. This was a failure of protocol." I nodded, but Clara spoke, voice soft but firm. "Train your officers better. I'm not a criminal." Daniels promised an investigation, but I saw the weight of public pressure in her eyes. The viral video had forced her hand. "We're implementing the 5 words protocol," she said. "Mandatory de-escalation training, address verification." I held Clara's gaze. Words weren't enough. General Hayes called, his voice heavy. "John, the officer who tossed her is suspended. The commander's reassigned." I thanked him but stayed focused on Clara. My Blackthorn days taught me justice wasn't vengeance, it was prevention. Maple Lane's neighbors left flowers on our porch, their support a quiet roar. As Clara rested, I checked X. A user posted, "John Carver's a hero. Protect him." I wasn't a hero, just a husband. But those 5 words had sparked change. Comment hope if you believe one voice can shift the system. Clara slapped, her breathing steady. I sat by her hospital bed, the envelope from General Hayes unopened on the table. Reinstatement wasn't my path, Clara was. Maple Lane's quiet had been replaced by a storm. The neighbor's video, now at 2 million views on X, had ignited debates. Hashtags like #5 words protocol trended, with posts reading, "John Carver exposed their mistake." #protect Clara. Outside, reporters swarmed, but I stayed with Clara. My phone buzzed, a text from Hayes, "John, the department's scrambling. Your words changed policy." The 5 words protocol was real, mandating address checks and de-escalation. It wasn't enough, but it was a start. A knock came. Mrs. Carter, whose Chevy I'd fixed, stood with a casserole. "John, the neighborhood's behind you," she said. "Clara's our heart." Her words stirred memories of missions where trust saved lives. Maple Lane was my mission now. I checked X. A rookie officer posted anonymously, "We study Carver's protocols now. He's a legend." I wasn't. I just said 5 words, "Call General Hayes right now." But those words, backed by my Blackthorn past, had humbled a SWAT team. Clara stirred, her voice weak. "John, don't carry this anger." I nodded, but the taser's crack still echoed. My Delta days taught me control, not revenge. The young officer who tossed her faced suspension, his career in ruins. I felt no joy, only resolve. A TV in the hall played the viral video, the anchor saying, "John Carver's restraint inspired reform." Restraint wasn't weakness, it was power. I kissed Clara's hand, promising, "We'll heal together." Maple Lane would too. Comment mercy if you believe true strength spares others, even when wronged. Clara was discharged, her bruises fading but her spirit unbroken. Back on Maple Lane, our home felt different. Neighbors left pies, kids drew cards for Clara. The viral video, now at 5 million views on X, had made us symbols. Posts read, "John Carver's 5 words saved us." #5 words protocol. I just wanted normalcy. I returned to fixing cars, my garage open again. A young man approached, hesitant. "Officer Ryan, the taser trigger." "Off duty, no badge." "Mr. Carver," he said, voice breaking, "I didn't know." "I'm sorry." His eyes held shame, his career on hold. Clara, watering roses nearby, nodded gently. "Learn from it," she said. I handed him a wrench. "Help me with this carburetor." He blinked, then joined in. My Blackthorn days taught me, redemption starts with action. You're not your mistake, I told him. He nodded, hands steadying. Chief Daniels held a press conference, announcing the 5 words protocol as national training. Inspired by John Carver, she said, avoiding my name's weight. X erupted, he's a hero. #call Hayes. I wasn't. I'd said 5 words, call General Hayes right now, and my past did the rest. General Hayes visited, leaving a bottle of whiskey on our porch. His note read, John, you're still teaching us. My Delta protocols, once classified, now shaped reform. But Clara's laugh, as she teased me about my greasy hands, was my victory. Ryan returned the wrench, quieter. They teach your restraint in training now. I shrugged. Fix things, not just cars. Maple Lane watched, healing with us. The SWAT team's error had sparked change, but Clara's grace led it. Comment redemption if you believe second chances rebuild what's broken. Maple Lane glowed with autumn light as Clara and I walked to the community center. Neighbors waved, their support a quiet strength. The viral video, now at 10 million views on X, had transformed us into reluctant icons. Posts read, John Carver's 5 words rewrote justice. #5 words protocol. We just wanted to live the inside. Chief Daniels unveiled a plaque, 5 words protocol training center. My name wasn't on it, but my past was. Blackthorn protocols now guided officers nationwide. Clara squeezed my hand. You did this, John. I shook my head. We did. A reporter cornered me, microphone thrust forward. Mr. Carver, why didn't you fight back when they tossed your wife? You could've. I paused, remembering Clara's collapse, my zip-tied hands. Because 5 words, call General Hayes right now, spoke louder than fists. Strength isn't destruction, it's standing for what's right. The crowd clapped, but Clara's proud smile was enough. She'd recovered, her heart steady, her spirit fiercer. At 65, she taught me grace daily. Officer Ryan, now in training, approached. Sir, your manuals saved my career. Thank you. I nodded. Serve better. X buzzed with clips of the event, users posting. Carver's a legend. #protect Clara. General Hayes sent a photo me in Delta gear, faces around me blurred. His note, your shadow still leads. I locked it away, choosing wrenches over wars. Back home, Clara baked for the church again, humming. The SWAT team's mistake had scarred us, but we'd rebuilt. Maple Lane wasn't just a street, it was family. My 5 words had stopped rifles, but Clara's courage stopped fear. Comment legacy if you believe one moment can change the world forever. Winter settled over Maple Lane, but our home glowed with warmth. Clara, fully recovered, baked cookies, her laughter filling the kitchen. The taser scars had faded, but her courage hadn't. At 67, I fixed cars, taught kids, and held her hand tighter. The viral video, now at 15 million views on X, had changed everything. Posts declared, John Carver's 5 words sparked justice. #5 words protocol. The 5 words protocol was law enforcement's new standard, taught globally. Chief Daniels sent a letter, your restraint reshaped us. I didn't reply, Clara's smile was my answer. Officer Ryan, reinstated after retraining, stopped by. Mr. Carver, you saved me, he said, handing me a restored photo of my Delta team, faces blurred. I nodded, placing it in a drawer. A reporter asked, why only 5 words? I said, because call General Hayes right now was enough. Power isn't loud, it's true. X-users shared the clip, writing, he's the ghost of Maple Lane. #protect Clara. General Hayes called, offering a Pentagon role. I declined. My mission's here, I said. Maple Lane thrived, neighbors closer, police patrols slower, respectful. Clara spoke at the community center, her voice steady. Fear didn't win. We did. The crowd roared. My Blackthorn past had stopped rifles, but Clara's heart stopped division. As we walked home, snow falling, I realized our story wasn't about me. It was Clara, Maple Lane, and 5 words that proved mercy outshines might. Subscribe to Heart of Valor if you believe heroes build, not break. Comment victory if you know real strength speaks softly. Share this if John and Clara's stand inspires you.